Hello and welcome to Race Car Fabrication and Restoration. I'm Ronnie Humphrey. As always, I greatly appreciate you joining us today. Got another big day here at the shop. Heath has already started on some additional decal work. We're going to work on the black truck. No telling what else we'll do, so right along with us. Let's get started. All right, you can see Heath got over here early this morning. We had a couple of our other sponsors here to the truck, ABC Auto Parts and Omni Specialty Packaging. Of course, we got Dilly's and Down Home Meats. They've been with us a long time. We decided to go ahead and put this bow time sticker on there as well. Also got the back of the truck done. And we got a larger Bojangles for the tailgate area. Now, I do have the decals for the tail lights and the headlights should be here hopefully Monday or Tuesday. Also redid the Goodyear here. We're going to do that in a solid color. And I'm probably going to move that down just a hair to give us a little more room for a couple more sponsored decals up here. But once we get the decals in the front of the headlights, that should be in pretty good shape. As far as all the decals, I'm going to work on this truck here. First thing I'm going to do is try to swap out a tire. This tire here will not stay aired up, and it's just it leaks down about every 3 days. I've got a bunch of tires up here in the loft. We're going to try to see if we can swap it around, and those are just some old NASCAR tires we're not going to use up here, so we're going to grab them. So let's get started on that while he's finishing up, and we'll see what else we get into. Well, we got this black truck mounted up here on the lift. We got a couple of things. Buddy's going to finish up these fender supports. And the big question is an oiling issue. We tested the oil this morning, and it's got considerable amount of gas inside the oil. The previous owner told me that he had spent some money on his carburetor and had it rebuilt, but it acts like it has a tremendous amount of gas and oil. So we're going to drain everything, and we're going to put fresh oil in it, swap out the filter, and luckily I had a filter here for a dry sump. So we're going to try to get this up in there, get the oil out of it, and try to crank it up. This thing has a leak. If you remember one of our previous videos, it's actually got a pinhole in the main gas line right here. It goes all the way back to the back. So we're running off a temporary line down here. So it should crank pretty easy. I got to get a battery for it, but we'll go ahead and try to get the oil out of it and do that first to see what happens. Unfortunately, we can tell this oil is loaded with gas. It smells like raw gas in there. It's like water. See how thin it is. All right, here's a new filter we're going to put on it, and we're going to go and load it up, preload it. Buddy's got his rat killing knife out.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to have a big one. I hurt myself. Like I have a little one. And Ronnie bought me this one.
Yeah, that's right. That was up at the parts store. I remember that. It looks like it's sharp as a razor blade, though. While we're working on this, Heath is mounting up a new right rear, a new one with 20 laps on it. That was run in January of 23. All types of stuff. Okay, get this filter on now. All right, Buddy's spinning the motor up now. We got a lot of air coming through. I can hear it through the tank. Okay, that's 3.75 gallons. We're just gonna take about 4 total. Okay, we got about 30 pounds of oil pressure just with the air ratchet. So we're hoping with the motor running, it's gonna get us a little more oil pressure here. We end up putting just under 4 gallons. We're gonna run a little bit and see. We can see the tank is halfway full now. So I think we're pretty close. Okay, Buddy's slipping the belt on there now. I've got a battery here. We're gonna try to, luckily this truck has got some long cables. We're gonna leave the battery outside, and boy, I hope this thing will crank up with this carburetor, because we had my carburetor off the yellow truck on there, but this carburetor came with it, and the guy was driving it, so I just haven't run it yet, so hopefully it'll crank up with his carburetor. Okay, we got our trusty fuel can, our gas can filled up with some 110 in it, so just put this down here, put our hose in. I'm gonna block it up just a little bit. How much gas you reckon was in that? Maybe it could have been a gallon in there.
I bet there was over a gallon of gas in it.
And the oil just smells like gas. But you can see now in the video how good the oil pressure is. We are good to go. Nothing wrong with the motor. So that is fantastic. And I'm very, very relieved. I tell you, I've been worried sick about this, and just glad that this was a kind of the short thing to check first, but we are good to go now. So now on to bigger and better things here. All right, now we're playing musical trucks. We got the yellow truck back on the lift again. What the problem is, we got a leak right here, and it appears this oil tank is cracked. I thought it was a cap was leaking, but it's not. It's dry all the way around it. I don't know, it's a little bit wet right there. We're trying to figure out, but it looks like, I got up here earlier and it looks like you might can see a hair crack. You barely can see it right there. So that's the next item of business. Okay, unfortunately we're having to pull the oil tank out, try to determine what the heck's going on. All right, we have the tank out. Trying to cap it off now. I'm gonna make a makeshift way that we can try to pressurize and see what in the heck's going on. We got to put this plug off here, but have no idea. I want to say it's cracked here on the bottom, but we don't know. There's an O-ring here. We're gonna split this and see if possibly leaking there. But anyway, maybe in the market for a new tank here if anybody's got one. All right, this is what we ended up with. It's kind of like something out of outer space. Plugged off the temperature gauge here, bottom's capped. That's the drain plug. This is already capped. We're gonna try to see if we can put some air in here, and hopefully this cap will seal, and we're just gonna try to block it off with a rag and see what happens. Okay, in case you're wondering what the inside of a oil tank looks like, here you go. This is your return where it comes back, funnels back down to the bottom of the tank. We're hoping that it's this O-ring right here. Now's a good time to get all the stuff cleaned up. I know one thing, this is a mess. Well, I put a lot of faith in some silicone, and we got the oil tank back in the truck. What a major task. It looks like it had a crack on the bottom, and then we also looked at the O-ring, took everything apart, cleaned it up, put fresh silicone around the O-ring. So hopefully everywhere we got it covered, we hope that this is gonna stop the leak. I'm gonna try to find another tank like that and get that on. But we did get the decals on today. It's bow time. And this is our local sponsors here. I always want to include them. The big thing is getting this oil pressure situation fixed on this truck. Man, I tell you, Buddy is old school, and I got to give him 100% credit. He's the one that came up with that. We talked this week about what we was going to try to do. We were originally going to try to turn up the oil pressure spring on the pump, and he said, man, I got thinking, because I told him about all the carburetor trouble I'd had was trying to crank it, and he said, you know, let's try to see if we can check the gas. And he checked the oil for gas, and man, you could smell, and it had a lot of gas in it. So man, we are so happy with that. So that is fantastic news there. That thing is ready to be worked on now. Well, guys, I appreciate you watching. This has been a stressful day, a long day, but it's unbelievable what we got accomplished today. I'm so thankful that we got the oil pressure up on that black truck. That's been heavy on my mind because I did not want to have to go in that motor. That's not what the plan was. So we're fine now, thank goodness. Appreciate you guys watching as always. Don't forget to hit that like button and that subscribe button. We'll see you next time on Race Car Fabrication and Restoration. God bless you. You take care.